Hey everyone, my name is Paul Vojchehoske and welcome to the Real Estate Classroom YouTube channel. Before we get started, do me a favor, give this video a thumbs up, hit that red subscribe button, click on the notification bell, and do me a favor, if you have comments or questions, put them down below. All right. All right, the Interstate Land Sales Full Disclosure Act. It is a federal law, federal regulation that you have to know for your real estate licensing exam. And a lot of students have said over the past year or so that they've had several questions, numerous questions over this particular law. So I wanted to make sure you had a video out there to study. So, all right. So the purpose of this particular regulation is to prevent people from purchasing unimproved land. Key here, unimproved land being sold what's called sight unseen. And it's being represented by the developer as a golden opportunity for you. And there's a little backstory to this you have to know. There was a time in our history, particularly in the 60s, 70s, where these developers of swampland in Florida or Louisiana would run ads in states like North Dakota, Minnesota in the months of December, January, and February. And they would run these ads on TV and radio saying, we got a great opportunity for you to buy prime real estate at a reduced value. It's an awesome opportunity, so on and so forth. And then if the person would inquire about it, they would say, listen, we only have a couple lots left. You better get on board now. There's not going to be any left, creating that panic selling. Next thing you know, by the time the phone call's done, you have purchased a half-acre lot in swampland in Florida or in Louisiana or something like that. It's absolutely worthless. And so the government decided to put a stop to this. Now, on the other hand, there are times when this is a legitimate claim. So the government wanted to regulate this, and that's why we have the law that we're discussing here today. Now, there are several requirements that you as a real estate student need to know for your real estate licensing exam. Number one, this law only applies to subdivisions that contain 25 or more lots. I got it highlighted on your screen there. All right, 25 or more lots. Now, several states have also created their own version of this law, and some of those laws are more strict. All right, you have to be aware of that depending on the state that you are taking the exam in. So 25 or more lots is the threshold. Number two, the subdivider must register with this is a federal agency, the Interstate Land Sales Agency, and that is with the Housing and Urban Development Department, or sometimes called HUD, H-U-D. All right, and remember, the purpose is to protect consumers who purchase these unimproved lots that's sight unseen. Now, real quickly, I know you know this, but just to cover this for those that have never heard this before, an unimproved lot is a lot that's just vacant. There's no buildings or anything on it. And number two, sight unseen means they've never seen the property. There was never a showing done, those type of things, all right? Sight unseen. And then here's the other thing at the bottom. Subdividers can't offer tracts of the subdivision, manipulate the tracts, if you will, in an attempt to avoid this law. It has to be open and honest, basically to have integrity in the process. All right. Now, there has to be a report that's generated by the subdivider. Very important. This report has some things that you have to know. Number one, it must provide zoning information. Number two, it must provide the type of title that the buyer will receive. Will it be fee simple absolute? Will it be fee simple defeasible? Those type of things. The number of homes in the subdivision that are currently occupied. Not sold, but actually occupied, meaning that somebody's built improvements on there. They've built houses and now they're occupying it. Number four, utility services that are available to that particular subdivision and the fees that are charged. Liens against the property, including any monthly assessments, annual assessments, special assessments, or anything like that. Distance to the nearest town or community. The report must also provide the types of roads and the soil conditions, like is it a gravel road, is it a dirt road, is it a paved road? And then it must be available, or they must disclose any of what's available as far as recreational facilities go for those that own lots. Remember, The reason they're providing this report is this is for those lots that have been purchased or they're attempting to sell these lots sight unseen. So that means that if somebody's buying it sight unseen, then they're going to at least have some of the basic information that's included in this report before making their decision to purchase it. Now, there is built-in what we call statute of limitations here and remedies for not complying with the law. Number one, the report must be given to the prospective purchaser at least 3 days before signing the purchase contract. All right, this report has to be given by the developer to the prospective buyer 3 days before signing the purchase contract. All right, so once the purchase contract has been signed, the purchaser has 7 days, what we call a right of rescission or a cooling off period. So they've signed the contract, they've given their earnest deposit. Now they have 7 days, basically until midnight the 7th day after signing the purchase contract, to legally rescind the contract penalty-free, that cooling off period. The second bullet point, and this is the punitive damage here, if you will, if the subdivider fails to provide that disclosure, that report 3 days prior to signing the contract. If the purchaser did not receive a property report prior to signing the purchase contract, the purchaser has 2 years to bring legal action to actually revoke the contract. So they could buy it, and they have up to 2 years to rescind the contract if they were not given that property report. If they were given the property report and they were given that report within at least 3 days prior to signing the contract, then they have only the 7-day right of rescission or cooling off period. Now, there are some exceptions to the law that you have to be aware of. Number one, the subdivision has to have more than 25 lots or 25 or more lots. Key, 25 or more lots. If there's 24 or less than 25 lots, then this law does not apply. Now, understand there are some states that have created their own version of this law. So obviously, the subdivider would have to comply with that state law. You're going to have to know that for your state side of the licensing exam. But tracts of land that are 20 acres or more do not apply. Lots sold to developers, because there's the appearance or the assumption that the developers have a higher understanding of what's going on. So they are exempt. Lots with existing buildings such as houses are exempt. And then lots that require construction of a building within 2 years of closing. You have to know that. We're not going to get into the reasons why. You don't need to know those reasons why, but there are specific reasons why this would be the case. So you don't have to know that. You just have to know that lots that require construction of a building within a 2-year period of closing are exempted. All right, so this is important before you go. Very important. Remember, states have their own version of this law. So you have to know what we discussed here for your national side of your real estate exam. Your state may have stricter guidelines. You're going to have to know that for your state side of the exam. So make sure that you know them so you don't confuse the two should you have a question or two on your national side and then a question or two on your state side. So keep that in mind. All right, if you're going to continue studying, check out this video right here. I highly suggest it. If you have not subscribed to the channel, please do so. Click the little circle to my left. And comments or questions. We love comments or questions. Please put them down below. I would appreciate that. I'll see you in another video.